Hello, Global Talk.
Dr. Kim's back. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm concerned about you. Your voice.
I'm good.
Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you very much. I don't feel bad. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel sick at all.
Just voice doesn't come
my
out.
voice doesn't work.
It happened to me about a month ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, no pain. Just voice that would not come out.
I just feel sorry for our listeners today. That's all. All right. Well, let's get started. You have a quiz question first?
Right. Quiz for today is this. Hallyu is often referred to as the Korea something. What is this something? Number one, swing. Number two, wave.
One more time, please.
Hallyu is often referred to as Korea something. What is this something? Number one, swing. Number two, wave.
Thank you, sir. If you know the answer, use our Bundy board or Kakao Talk or text in on your cell phone, pounder sharp 1045 for 50 or 101, depending on the length of your text. We're giving away an iRiver Chiso Salgyungi. All right, so let's get started. For some time now, we've been hearing about China trying to limit the Korean wave inside of their country. We've heard about how popular dramas and music is there.
Big time.
For a long time. Some important developments on this topic over the last week.
Right. We've been talking about this and hearing about this for quite some time, but last week we had several important developments. Number one is the Korean newspaper, 한국일보, carried a exclusive report last Thursday pointing out the fact that they actually obtained a written evidence that the Chinese authority, particularly the National Newspaper Publication and Broadcasting Bureau, actually verbally but officially ordered all entities in China that are carrying Korea contents material for broadcasting and media, telling them they should refrain from, carrying, advertisements, commercial advertisements that present Korean media stars, and they should refrain from Korea Wave contents-related investment into Korea, or co-producing media contents like dramas, movies, or other music-related activities. And also, they should refrain from airing Korean drama through the Chinese media channels, and also refrain from holding like media concerts, like musical concerts and so on, musicians playing on the stage that have more than 10,000 people attending in the audience. So this was quite an important news because we've been hearing about this thing for the past several months. I think ever since the summer when Korea made a formal decision to have the THAAD installed, the Thermal High Altitude Area Defense, anti-missile defense system in Korea. Since then, we've been hearing it, but it confirms the fact that since particularly mid-November, the Chinese government and Chinese authority actually had made this verbal order. There's no written order as an evidence, but what 한국일보 obtained was a written document from a Chinese company talking about, specifically mentioning this verbal order from the authorities.
So this was a leak then?
Right, indeed.
I was going to ask how they got their hands on that information.
Right. It was supposed to be confidential document, but they got hold of it. And then one important thing is, the terminal high-altitude area defense, the anti-missile system, had been in the center of the issue, but the newspaper argued that on top of it, the addition of the General Security of Military Information Agreement with Japan actually became a trigger for this official action.
So this is not a cultural issue at all where, trying to limit exposure to outside cultures to its citizens. It's
political.
It's political. This is a slap on the wrists, if you will.
Exactly.
In response to something else.
Right. And 한국일보 report was not the only one that we saw as a development last week, but also a famous Chinese portal site, Xinliang. It means a new wave. They also carried a report about the action. They didn't mention thought or political issues, but they said, there is the overall nationwide action to limit Korea wave. So there
Okay.
was another important development there.
So how extensive has the impact been so far then?
As we discussed, since October, we've been seeing, Korean media stars, the movie stars, and musicians being gradually barred from Chinese commercials and Korean drama. Their scheduled airing kind of changed abruptly, and the movie making all of a sudden stopped and kept the flow into Korea related to Korea wave, material kind of like being frozen and so on. And we've been seeing also the what we call in Korea home shopping channels, Chinese home shopping channels like TV and internet shopping channels, reducing their the introduction of Korean products in China. And many of the international internet transactions being curtailed. And in October, we saw a fast rise of that. And since November, definitely we've been seeing all this. And it's spreading to, it has been mostly focused on Korea wave related material, but now we see it's spread over to other like specific manufactured products as well as the services, including retail chains and then Korea retail businesses in China being investigated for safety and other regulatory issues and so on. So it's spreading gradually over to other areas.
So therefore, do we think that this is a true leak? I mean, it would seem to me, why wouldn't the Chinese government make this an official announcement?
A lot of observers in Korea actually believe not making official announcement is a very smart thing because the message is clear, but they don't want to be blamed.
Okay.
So Korean authorities has nowhere to go to protest this because Chinese authorities saying, we don't have it.
What are you protesting?
Yeah, what are you talking about? We don't know about things, but everyone knows it's happening. But Chinese authorities says it has nothing to do with us. So the impact is there, but there's no point to protest against.
I understand.
So that's why it's a smart move, they say.
I got it. All right, we'll listen to a song, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the Chinese decision to, I don't know if ban is the right word, limit, control the influence
Right,
of.
ban would be too strong at this point.
At this point, right. Well, anyway, we're talking about K-Wave and the lack thereof in China these days.
Right.
Here is Big Bang. This is a staple K-pop band that I'm sure is very popular in China. Fantastic,
sure.
fantastic baby. All right, so with Dr. Kim Young-juk today in Hello Global Talk, we're talking about the decision in China, and now we can call it an official decision because of the proof in the document that the Hangulgilbo acquired.
Right, according to that newspaper.
To limit or control dramas and other things in China in response to the missile system decision here in Korea and the agreement with Japan. So what about, though, things from the Chinese consumers' point of view? The people who like these Korean dramas, what has their response been, or can they do anything to get these back?
Actually, some of the Korean commentators have been talking about the possibility that if we just let this happen for a while, eventually there will be a blowback from the Chinese consumers because, they like these kind of entertainment stuff. And if authority comes out too sternly on this, there should be some kind of reaction to it. And so, let that happen, they were saying. They called it the Romeo and Juliet effect. When you're trying to prohibit or forbid someone from doing something, they'll actually go against it eventually. The thing is, however, other opinion makers here in Korea have been saying that's a little bit naive and risky thinking because China is very well known for their nationalist sentiments. And if somehow Chinese government draw this into a direction of encouraging Chinese national sentiment or national fever, saying that, well, we have to raise and promote our Chinese culture against Korean culture. So if they somehow succeed in leading this thing into a nationalist direction, actually it will get worse. So, the opinion here in Korea has been divided about kind of like what's going to eventually happen about this.
Is there anything Korea can do about it?
There are several things that opinion makers have been saying. Number one, first of all, they're saying we have to go out there, meaning the world community, and let this known to the world. we've been too quiet. Many of the commentators have been saying we've been too quiet since the summer when this was slowly happening. We should let the world know that the world number 2 power, China, actually is doing this on cultural, entertainment, private sector stuff, being driven by the political and diplomatic issues. This is unfair. This is not the norm that we should expect from a rising superpower in the world community. So they're saying we should talk more loudly about this in the world, that people should go out there in academic seminars, through the world, the journals and the media channels. We should talk about it more openly, they're saying. And then also number 2 is some people are saying we have to show our united front on this, because they're saying some of the China experts in Korea have been a little bit apologistic about this. They were being shown as China apologists. They're saying China has a reason to act this way, blah, blah, blah. And they said this is not going to help. So we should have our united front against what China is doing. Lastly, another important point, the way I see it, is opinion makers are saying we should, taking this chance as an opportunity to broaden the overall, the outlets of Korea Wave, rather than only focusing on China where immediate money could have been made in the past, rather focus more on like South America, for instance, and work more on European market and so on, diversify, rather than relying on China as the sole place where we can make lots of money here. And so they say this is a great opportunity to quote-unquote restructure Korea Wave industry.
나 오늘 점심 그 자장면 먹으려고 했는데요. 지금 안 먹어요.
Some people say jajangmyeon is a Korean creation.
No more jjampong for me until the dramas are back on TV in China.
Go, Steve, right there.
I know. I'm teasing, of course.
But Chinese Koreans, they are Koreans here in our citizens, so let's not affect them.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just a joke.
Go to Beijing and protest right there in the
That's
Tiananmen
right.
Square or something, Steve. I'll cheer for you.
Can we have the answer to your quiz question, please?
The answer to the question, Hallyu is often referred to as Korea something, and the answer is, of course, wave. So Hallyu is referred as Korea Wave, number 2.
Yes, and the I River Chisor Salgyungi goes to Ye Hyun-ju님 from our message board. Congratulations. Enjoy your prize. Dr. Kim, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy your week, and we'll see you again next time.
See you again later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.